Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar. This is week 3 on our 4 weeks to keto, the keto program to take you from beginner to expert. My name is Carolee Kane. I'm a certified health and wellness consultant and absolutely love helping people change their diets, improve their health, and just have that great life because now you feel fantastic. So this is week 3 and we're going to be talking about healthy snacks that you can do without falling off the keto bandwagon, fat bombs, as well as some cravings you might have and why you have them and how to fix them. So hopefully up to this point, you have watched our core video that talks about what we do as the core of health by working on digestion, detox, inflammation, as well as essential nutrients, because this is going to become really important in this week's information as we talk about those cravings. Make sure you watch the intro video to this program and you listen to week 1 and week 2 because we're going to reference back to those as well. And of course, you want to have the Make It Keto cookbook. And with that, let's jump into our disclaimer. So nothing here today has been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The Wakaya products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Always consult your medical professional, and preferably you'll consult a medical professional who understands nutrition, who understands the ketogenic lifestyle as well. And the average weight loss on the Bula Fit program is approximately 1 to 2 pounds a week, up to 15 pounds total. If you want a copy of this, please let me know. And we're just going to start out by reviewing something here that's so important because it leads into our discussion of snacking. So remember that to be in ketosis, your food at each and every meal, not a daily total, needs to have a 2-to-1 minimum fat to protein ratio and preferably a 3-to-1 ratio ideally. What does that mean? For every 10 grams of protein, you need to have at least 20 grams of fat. That is a 2-to-1 ratio. A 3-to-1 ratio would mean you were eating 30 grams of fat for every 10 grams of protein. Now, which ratio you use often depends on your health concerns, your sensitivity to insulin, how your blood sugar is doing, and how much weight you have to lose. So we're focusing in on fat here specifically because it has so much to do with our snacking and craving discussion. So let's look at some of your top sources of healthy fat. Grass-fed butter, organic coconut oil. Wakaya has an amazing one that actually comes from Wakaya Island. That's definitely our favorite. Organic non-hydrogenated lard. Just make sure you have a high-quality source there. I like to order mine online. A high-quality MCT oil, fantastic for adding to things. Just remember not to cook with it because it's not safe to heat. Cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, coconut cream. Make sure when you're buying any kind of coconut cream that you're looking at your brands. Organic brands tend to have fewer carbs and fewer other bad ingredients, so you can get coconut cream with virtually no carbs or some with higher carbs. Just read your labels. Full fat sour cream, sometimes you have to look for that one, make sure it's a full fat. Otherwise, the fat has been replaced with sugar. Avocados and macadamia nuts. So those are typically our top sources of fat, and then we're going to talk about some ways to combine those fats to make some amazing recipes. Now, let's talk about why you're hungry between meals and you want a snack in the first place. The number one reason you are hungry between meals is because you're not eating enough fat with your meal. So we have all been trained to try and eat less, to cut out sugar, to cut out sweets, right? And so sometimes eating a large meal seems counterintuitive, or we're wanting to, not eat until we're full. So oftentimes people actually aren't eating enough fat when they eat. So what this results in is, in between meals, your body's running out of a fuel source. It's hungry. And that snacking is letting you know, hey, I needed more fat. So get into the habit of do have dessert or an avocado or a snack slash fat bomb with every meal as a way to increase your fat. This is such a big deal, and this is why we went over that 2-to-1 and 3-to-1 fat to protein ratio. Because if you're not hitting that, you are going to be hungry between meals. Now, there is a second reason, and that second reason is a lack of essential nutrients, which we'll discuss in more detail in a minute. But understand that the body is designed to eat infrequently. There's periods of fasting when we fuel it correctly. Now, if we don't fuel it correctly, it can't do this. It can't go for long spans of time without eating. As much as possible, we want to avoid grazing, the snacking all day, right, by solving the root cause. Well, and we just mentioned the top two reasons, right? Not eating enough fat and the lack of essential nutrients. If you are doing keto correctly and your fat ratios are dialed in and you're a little ways into it, don't be surprised if you're only eating 2 meals a day and a small snack in between. So maybe you're having breakfast and a little bit of a snack at lunch and then eating more for dinner. That's fine. Maybe you're just eating breakfast and dinner. Whatever works well for you, but you will find that when you're in full ketosis, when you've got the fat in that is needed alongside the essential nutrients, 3 meals a day just may be too much. One of the big reasons that we want to avoid grazing all day is that even if you're eating healthy, even if it's fat, every time you're eating, you're having to re-engage the digestive system and the body has to go to work to process that food. If you're not eating all the time, you give the body more ability to repair things, to repair maybe health concerns you have, to generate new healthy cells. So asking the body to deal with food all the time is a stressor on it. A large portion of our energy that's produced every day goes toward digestion and absorption of nutrition. And so if we can lessen the amount of time we're eating and actually eat more while we're eating, that makes the body's job easier. I also find that it saves a lot of time because you don't have to think about eating or what should I have as often. So that's the basis behind this, what we're going to talk about next, some ways to increase that fat. So this is a screenshot or a picture of the Make It Keto cookbook by Jennifer Winder. And these are some of the snacks and fat bombs she lists. And these are all fantastic. Turmeric and dill veggie bars, cucumber keto bites, sweet and savory bacon wrapped smokies, keto joy fat bombs, layered caramel nut fat bomb bars, chocolate peanut butter fat bombs, strawberry cheesecake fat bombs, chocolate chip cookie dough fat bombs. These are things that are fantastic to add in to your meal. And it doesn't matter if it's breakfast, if it's lunch, if it's dinner. You can add these into your meal to pick up that fat level so you're not finding yourself having to snack so much in between meals. Now, is snacking the end of the world and you can't ever do it? No. But as a general rule, you don't want to be snacking all day long every day. Desserts. This is one of Jennifer's specialties. She makes some amazing desserts. I mean, pumpkin rolls. Again, this is something, whether it's a chocolate roll made with the chocolate version of the pumpkin recipe or the pumpkin one, this is one that's fantastic, even for breakfast. Certainly any other time. So pumpkin roll, almond pound cake, sponge cake, poke cupcakes, chocolate almond strawberry roll, pink Fijian ginger lemon bars, chocolate silk pie, German chocolate cookies, chocolate cupcakes with mint cream frosting, luscious lemon roll, brownie cheesecake, and on and on. These are just some of the things in the cookbook that go ahead and add to your meal to make it higher in fat so that you hit that satiation factor and your body has long-term fuel to run on. Every time you eat, if you think about fueling up your car with gas, you want to fuel it up all the way so you can get as many miles, you can get as long a time as possible without having to refuel. That is the body's preferred method of operation. It doesn't like it when you give it a quarter tank of gas and then a few miles down the road you're out of gas and then another quarter tank. And you give it only a quarter tank when you don't eat a complete meal and when you're snacking all the time. In the beginning, when you're starting keto, as your body's adapting, snacking can be a lifesaver. It can make a big difference. And having these snacks on hand is not a bad idea. Just understand that as you continue down the road, you want to go more toward putting those snacks with your meals. Now, some resources for some of these recipes. Of course, we mentioned the Make It Keto cookbook. There is another cookbook on Amazon that is amazing for this. All it is fat bomb recipes. So it's a fantastic way to add fat to your meal. And it includes so many different variations and flavors of all the recipes. So if you don't like chocolate, there's a vanilla version. If you don't like either of those, there might be an orange version, right? This is the sweet and savory fat bombs. And Martina is the author. And like I said, you can find it on Amazon.com. You can also go to our website, Keto Made Easy, the snack and fat bomb page, the dessert page, the ice cream page, and of course use this video as a resource. Now, let's talk about cravings, why you have them, and what you really, really need. So a lot of times we hear, oh, I'm craving salt. What would you need when you're craving salt? The answer is salt. And why would that be? First off, when you do keto, your need for salt goes way, way, way up. Why? Because salt is one of the things the liver uses to break down this fat, whether it's burning your body fat or breaking down the fat that you're eating. And the more fat you have in your diet, the more salt you automatically need. Now, when you're eating keto and you're using a clean source of salt, we talked about this in other presentations, salt is extremely beneficial. It is loaded with those minerals, extra electrolytes. It's a really big, important piece. And when we talk about the right kind of salt, of course our preference is for the Wakaya Perfection sea salt. But you can also use something like real salt or a good quality Himalayan salt. And the body self-regulates those salt cravings. When you get enough salt, salt will stop tasting good. If it's still tasting good and you still want more, the body's letting you know, hey, I could use more salt. Sometimes on keto, people need so much salt that they'll actually make their own salt capsules, just like some of you are familiar with making your ginger and turmeric capsules out of the culinary sizes. They'll do the same thing with salt. That way, if you crave salt, but you're someone who doesn't really like the taste of salt, or you don't want to load up a food with salt, and I'm kind of one of these people, getting it in the capsules is so much easier because you feel great and you don't have to taste it. Chocolate. Now, I know you want me to say that chocolate is an essential nutrient. Unfortunately, it is not. Most often, when you have an uncontrollable chocolate craving, the body is actually looking for additional magnesium. And why would it be looking for magnesium? Again, because magnesium is one of those nutrients that the body uses to break down fat. So when you increase your fat, you're going to need more magnesium. Another way beyond a chocolate craving to check if you need more magnesium is, are you struggling with leg cramps, muscle cramps, trouble falling asleep even when you're tired, tight, stiff neck or shoulder muscles, headaches, or constipation? The more of those you have and the worse they are, the more likely that chocolate craving is associated with not enough magnesium. Now let's talk about nuts. Sometimes people go on keto and they get totally hooked on nuts and they're just eating nuts and eating nuts. They're nuts about nuts, right? A lot of times, walnuts are healthy. They do start to pack a significant amount of carbohydrates and protein when eaten in large amounts. And they actually end up throwing you out of ketosis if you're eating too many. In moderation, they're fantastic. But a lot of times that is a craving for additional fat. So look to increase just your plain fat sources without bringing on extra protein and carbs. Now, what if you're physically full, but you're going to the refrigerator and you're just looking for something? What is that? You know you're not really hungry, but you're not satisfied, and you're thinking, I opened up the fridge, I looked in, nothing looked good, but 30 seconds later, I'm still hungry, I'm still looking, so I open up the fridge again, nothing looks good, but I'm still hungry. Like I'm not satisfied. That is that lack of essential minerals. And to use another analogy, if you've ever been around horses or other farm animals, when they start to chew on the fence, the farmer knows that it's time to put in minerals into the food, and they actually usually do that via a salt block that has extra minerals added to it, or just putting minerals in the feed. And when they do that, the livestock will stop chewing on the fence. In humans, we don't really chew on fences, but you will see this in humans with people that have the munchies all the time or snacking all the time. They don't have a specific craving, just kind of anything, everything. As well as you'll see babies do this when they try to eat everything. That's often a sign that they're really looking for extra minerals. So let's talk about how we get those extra minerals. And this actually goes again back to our core, which I hope you've already watched because you'll understand this a lot better. Our Mineral Garden product has 70 plus plant minerals in it. In addition, it has 29 fruits and vegetables alongside grapeseed extract, which is fantastic for helping out the immune system, and only 5 grams of carbs. This is a powerhouse. This is like dozens of foods rolled into one that you can get inside one single serving. You don't have to go to the store and buy all these vegetables. You don't have to pop a bunch of pills, take a huge amount of something to get all these minerals. The dose for this product is only 1 to 2 ounces a day. If you feel like you need more, there's certainly no harm in using more. But it is such a big deal and packs so much of a powerful punch. It will go so far to helping with those cravings when you just kind of want everything, you're not satisfied, like we were talking. Now, when we did our core recording, we spoke about using the Mineral Garden in that core package. Sometimes people will use the GT Total Pack as their core package. That product pack has something called the multi-essentials in it instead of the Mineral Garden. If you're finding that you're having a lot of cravings, don't be afraid to either take both the multi-essentials from your GT Total Pack, or you can swap out the multi-essentials for the Mineral Garden and create your own kind of core pack. Also, when we drop snacking, we get rid of the munchies. This is so helpful if you're doing keto to lose weight, because obviously when you snack, it's much easier to get out of control, eat too much, eat the wrong things, but the minerals make that so much easier. Minerals are an appetite suppressor, and they just make you feel fantastic. And the way to take the Mineral Garden is you can either just take it as a shot and chase it with water or something else, or some people like to mix it with their Keto Fizz or even their Sport and Go. You decide how you like it, but it's a really powerful product and part of our core. So why minerals? Dr. Linus Pauling, who is a 2-time Nobel Prize laureate, said you can trace every sickness, every disease, and every ailment to a mineral deficiency. Dr. Gary Price Todd, an MD and best-selling author, our bodies need at least 60 minerals each day in order to maintain a disease and ailment-free state. And if you take a look, our mineral garden has 70 plus minerals, including all of those 60 essential minerals. Now, why would we be so deficient in minerals? Why would we have these cravings? Well, just take a look. Here are some vegetables, and it shows the depletion in vegetables between 1940 and 1991. So the salt level, the sodium level has gone down 49%. Potassium 16, magnesium 24, calcium 46, iron 27, copper 76. And all of these that we just mentioned are minerals. So can you start to understand why you might be craving these minerals when you look at those kind of drops? And this was only up to 1991. It hasn't gotten any better, and it's continuing to drop. Now, we've all heard an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, an apple with minerals maybe does, but maybe not an apple that is depleted. So let's talk about this. Calcium. Between 1914 and 1992, again, this is old data that to my knowledge hasn't even been redone, but it's scary enough stopping at 1992. Calcium has fallen 48%, phosphorus 84%, iron 96%, potassium 1.71%, magnesium 82%. Now think about why we might be running short on magnesium. If everything we're eating, our vegetables, our fruits, are this low in this nutrient. Or salt, as we mentioned earlier. And again, Mineral Garden to the rescue to fill up those nutritional deficiencies and give us those extra fruits and vegetables. As we talk about cravings, sometimes we just need a little pickup and help with managing our cortisol levels, our stress levels. Maybe you're taking everything and your life is just busy and there's just some extra stress. Well, again, the Sport and Go is a key, critical piece of that total GT pack or that core package. Why? Because it has energy-supporting herbs, it has methylated B vitamins, and why that's important is because the methylated version are the active version that are available for the body to use immediately. Ashwagandha for thyroid support. How many people do you know that need some help with their thyroid? Again, we've put the minerals in it. There's not as many as in the Mineral Garden, but there are some. Rhodiola for cortisol support. I don't know if you know anyone who ever has any stress in their life. But when we're stressed, our cortisol level rises, and then our inflammation level rises, and then blood sugar rises, and it becomes this circular, vicious cycle of all the things rising we don't want. What rhodiola and ashwagandha work together to do is to balance out that cortisol level. The B vitamins provide that nutritional support, and so the body can handle stress better. This is a powerful support product for the adrenal glands. It's something that I encourage everyone to do, whether you're doing keto or not, and use it between meals. When you use a supplement like this between meals, you're not engaging that digestive tract. You're not wearing the body out. You're actually providing gentle support. I know for myself, running out of Sport and Go is a cause for panic, and I always have a serving or two. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this, but these are just some of the benefits of ashwagandha. Healthy thyroid function, healthy adrenal function, combat stress and anxiety, better mood, supports healthy blood sugar, brain health and memory, boosts immune function, increased stamina and endurance. And let's jump down to the healthy hormonal balance. The Sport and Go is a combination product that really does help with that healthy hormone balance. So you'll probably notice a difference even there when you use it. Now, let's move into, so we've addressed the munchies. Let's move into providing adequate fuel to the body. So you have picked up your fat at meals. You're using the minerals, the mineral garden, as part of your core to make sure that you're addressing those nutritional deficiencies. You're combating your stress levels with the Sport and Go. Here are some additional things that can be exceptionally helpful, especially as you start keto. And we'll look at, the first one is the Keto Fizz, the second one is the Keto Coffee, and we'll look at the Keto Fizz first. As your body is transitioning from that sugar burning to the fat burning mode, that can be a difficult space. That is why we suggest you don't try to do this without the product, without the keto fuel and the burn. Those are the basics and things not to be overlooked. The burn is a combination of herbal extracts that sometimes we refer to as willpower in a box. It provides some extra energy, provides some help with those food cravings, makes you not quite as hungry. But sometimes even beyond that, you need an extra source of energy to power through those first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of starting keto. So what the Keto Fizz is an exogenous source of ketones. Now, ketones are what the liver makes as you switch over to a high-fat, low-carb diet. But if we can deliver some of those ketones directly to the bloodstream that the liver doesn't have to make, it can provide temporary energy until the body fully switches over to ketosis. It provides additional electrolytes. We talked about that need for salt and magnesium. That also includes potassium and calcium. And this Keto Fizz has those electrolytes, along with 30 organic fruits and veggies. The Keto Fizz can be fantastic for pre-workout drink, and just when you need steady, calm energy, maybe you have to stay up at night or you have a long drive, but you want to be able to sleep at the end of it, this is fantastic. The burn will keep you from sleeping if you take it at night. The Keto Fizz, you can take it and it will provide energy for the time you need it, and then you can actually go to sleep. So the Keto Fizz can be a huge deal. Provides extra energy, fewer cravings, and it also helps with blood sugar support. And that changing blood sugar is what tends to affect our energy levels the most between meals. So if we can help stabilize that out, that can be a big, big deal. There's actually now 865 articles on exogenous ketones indexed in PubMed.gov as of 12/21/2017. So I'm sure there's more almost a year later. Now, let's talk about the keto coffee. How and when would you use the keto coffee? Well, number one, if you're eating breakfast and your breakfast needs some more fat, fantastic time to whip out the coffee, right? Mix with water, easy, extra fat. Perfect for intermittent fasting. If you're saying, I'm just going to skip breakfast, I'm going to have lunch and dinner, the coffee is great if you need a little bit of energy, a little bit of pick-me-up there. You can use it if you're too busy to make breakfast. You can use it in between meals. And again, remember that doing something like the coffee doesn't trigger the body to go into that full digestion, work really hard mode. So it can be a great way to just keep you from, again, snacking on actual food, overeating, and just be delicious to enjoy and make you feel great. There's really not a limit on how much coffee you use other than maybe getting too much caffeine. It's just like regular coffee. So wherever your tolerance there is for regular coffee, that would be the same here. But remember that this is caffeine also balanced with fat, and it's organic coffee. So we're getting away from all those pesticides and chemicals that coffee normally is loaded with. And as we close, remember to use Keto Made Easy. You can sign up for our newsletter, check out the FAQ section, check back often for new recipes, use the Getting Started section where you're going to see the recordings for all of the things we've referenced for week 1, week 2, week 3, and next week, week 4. You can submit your own recipes and use this site to share with others. Vinaka, and I look forward to talking with you next week as we go through keeping dinner keto and some advanced troubleshooting.